What's going on, guys? It's Justin, and in this video I'm going to be talking about two Blu-rays and two VHSs that I checked out. So let's get started. We'll start off with the one VHS. The first VHS that I saw was a movie that, to me, the soundtrack had more importance than the actual movie because it was one of those soundtracks that my parents had when I was growing up that I heard, day after day in their car. And the music of that genre for this movie just whenever I heard it brought back like family vacations and whatever else. The movie that I'm referring to is Cocktails. Tom Cruise. It's about Tom Cruise's character being this bartender who starts off in New York, ends up going to Jamaica, befriending this other bartender, and just their relationship, how it develops, and his love interest throughout the storylines and how they develop as well. It's a great movie, but in my opinion, the soundtrack will always stand out a lot more stronger than the actual film. So that's Cocktails. The second movie that I checked out was a movie that I picked up yesterday. Is a movie that is a classic movie for me. I remember watching it as a, when I was younger, and watching it repetitively. See how I can't talk repetitively. Just because I loved these characters, and the characters are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and this is the first movie. This movie, of course, talks about how the Ninja Turtles were, first created. Splinter gets into how, the ooze and everything else. It's more developed in the second movie, and when I watch that movie, I'll get into more details about that. It talks about Splinter's relationship with Shredder, and just the overall conflict between the Ninja Turtles and the Foot Clan. And, Casey Jones and April O'Neil thrown in there, and Tasu. Just an amazing film. And it was amazing to go and look back at, you know, that generation just because of certain stuff that, you kind of forget. Me growing up in the 1980s, just some of the scenes when they were in the underground with some of the Foot Clan kids growing up, just seeing skateboarding and different aspects of the music in the movie, just brought back good memories for me as well. Then I have two Blu-rays. The first one I had never seen, or I've heard about, but I didn't know what to expect going into it. And I heard people say negative and positive reviews on it, so I thought I would check it out. The movie I'm talking about is No Country for Old Men. Basically, my opinion of this movie is it was very slow paced. I know most country movies are sort of like slow paced, like Shane and stuff like that, but at the same time, the scenes that did have action were there. And I thought it was interesting too that Tommy Lee usually plays the same kind of character in all his movies. He's either a marshal, he's a deputy, police officer, something to that extent. And he played that role very similar in this movie. It's kind of like he's kind of stereotyping him or boxing himself into that main kind of role set. But, just in this movie overall, it was an okay movie. I didn't find it was the greatest movie, but it was okay to watch, and it was very slow paced, like I said. I didn't know what to expect going into it. And maybe if I watch it again, I'll enjoy it a little bit more, but I don't know. Then the last movie that I watched on Blu-ray, and why am I stuttering? Anyways, if you guys don't know, I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan. I've been a fan of his since 1984-ish. Probably around. I remember the first album that I got was Thriller and Triumph when I was 4 years old. So that just puts into perspective how much I've liked Michael Jackson over the years. Anyways, so I picked up this Blu-ray. I've been wanting to get it since Christmas when it was released, and I was hoping that it wasn't sort of like, they've released movies since his death where they're pretty much putting a negative light on Michael Jackson's death and on his career and just trying to slander his whole image. And this movie was the total opposite. The movie that I'm talking about is Michael Jackson, the life of an icon. This movie was amazing because it got the perspective of how big of an icon Michael Jackson was from the people that knew him best. You had interviews by Tito, you had interviews by Catherine, you had interviews by different random stars. One of the stars that I found very interesting was Whitney Houston was actually on there, and it didn't even look like Whitney Houston. So it was just very bizarre watching her commentary on Michael Jackson. Some of the people I think it was interesting that they left out, like people that were involved in his life, like Sophia Loren, or, I'm not sure if she's passed away, but, you know, and just they went through his childhood, through the child molestation charges, to his victory, at those, to It Begins, and sorry, not It Begins, This Is It, and even, you know, it was just an amazing journey to see the positive aspect of his whole career. And like I said, a lot of videos since his death have been focusing on the negative aspect, and I've been a person that's always believed, you know, especially with Michael Jackson, that his career is based on his music, and whatever happened in his personal life should be left alone. And I don't believe any of the charges that were laid against him. But this movie was definitely a great movie, and I would suggest checking it out because Katherine Jackson, you don't see a lot. Well, you see a couple interviews with her on CNN now just based on the children, but you've never seen an interview sit down on her perspective of Michael Jackson as much as you would see in this video, and it was just a great movie to watch. So those have been the 2 Blu-rays and 2 VHSs I checked out. Comment below, and I'll catch you guys later. One love, mad love, peace.